goodness that Ray Leneve could see that and do something about it and save a stream of bikes, some 58 of them going by him as they get away now. And he's still in trouble. He's been forced over by bike number 10, Peter Guest. Swarming into the lead goes 19, Sean Giles, the man who was so successful here last year. Whole pile of them bottling up there. Nothing like racing speed as they virtually run into each other damn nearly on the inside of the corner. Finally sort it all out and get racing on very tense, very serious, hard, quick race laps. And up with him is bike number 2, Roy Leslie.
The power of that big 926cc Ducati overhauled Sean Giles up the straight. Giles is on the ex-Peter Jackson Yamaha, state-of-the-art, highly tuned Yamaha, $100,000 worth, but the very technological, advanced Ducati fuel-injected uses extra power to pass him up there. This is a very strong part of the Ducati hound now. Up this part of the circuit, very, very torquey. Was disheartening Sean Giles yesterday when he was following him through this uphill section of the track. He in fact was looking down at his tacho to make sure that his engine was still running.
In third place is Chris Bombardier and bike number 11. In behind him is Graham Morris on 7. As the battle for the lead goes on, Roy Leslie starting to pull away a little bit from Sean Giles. Giles' territory hasn't been reached yet. That's really the straight. Although the Ducati's very quick there as well, it's an area where the four-cylinder Yamaha will be much more at home than it is plonking out of steep uphill corners like the Ducati does. Big win.
Great range of bikes here. We have a Ducati leading from a Yamaha, from a Kawasaki, and then from a Honda. Graham Morris there on the Maxima machine number 7. There's a new CB900RR with a few of the factory modifications.
And in behind him is Graham Wilshire on 8, and on 52, Keith Greentree doing a good job too.
I would expect that Roy Leslie and Sean Giles are the 2 class riders of this field. They contest the Australian Road Race Championships on a full-time basis. I would think their skill and machinery should give them the advantage. But the race for 3rd, 4th and 5th here will be a beauty between Graham Morris, Keith Greentree and number 8. Roy last rode here at Bathurst in 1988, which was the last of the big Bathurst races, when they had a bit of trouble with the crowd up on the hill. A very experienced rider. He's raced at Suzuka 5 times, hopeful of trying to put together enough of a budget to get a team to race at Suzuka again. Really enjoys his racing, takes his wife everywhere with him, and I think it's his 5th season with the Ducati dealer team, so they obviously appreciate his riding and daring.
Very lean and fit too, looks after himself well, and to say, if anything, riding as well as he's ever ridden. The gap between 2nd and 3rd, 19 back to 11, that's Sean Giles to Bombardier on 11, was 0.84, just a glimpse of them in the rear picture there, I think shows that it's probably down to about 0.3 or 0.4 of a second. But pulling away is Roy Leslie on 2. Yes, there's that battle.
Sean Giles, as I said before, riding an ex-Peter Jackson machine. There's another rider who has very limited funds, has had some help from RC Cola, who in fact are sponsoring the TT races here this year, and is very helpful of putting in a good performance here today to maybe entice them to assist them throughout the remaining rounds of the Australian Championship.
It's astonishing because motorcycle racing is really the sort of the pure form of racing that we saw many years ago in cars before technology nailed them down to the track so well. Here riders have much greater influence on the overall performance of the machine than drivers do in cars. You get a lot of change of place, a lot of cut and thrust, but it's just not recognised nearly so widely by the media, but it's wonderful stuff. Look at this. Building up towards about 260, 265 kilometres now on Conrod, tucked down, and then this right-hander. How would you feel?
Heart in the mouth, I'll tell you. Oh, big shake from the rear of the bike there of Sean Giles' Yamaha. That allows Chris Bombardier to move right up onto his back wheel. He'll be trying to position himself maybe for a look down the inside at the end of the straight here. No, switches to the outside of the circuit.
3 laps already completed by Leslie. Now this pair coming through to do it in a 10-lap race. Leslie with trouble, so this is the battle to the lead. They've gone past Leslie there on the right-hand side. We'll be back to Mount Panorama with more of the Australian Solo TT in just a moment.
high weather.
I would suspect the Yamaha and Kawasaki will be very evenly matched for top speed down Conrod. If Bombardieri can get him the draft of Giles, that'll give him the advantage as he pulls out to try and go underneath or around the outside of him into Caltech's chase. No, not quite close enough at this stage. Bombardieri right down under the paint, as they say, tucked down as low as he can to get the full use out of the fairing screen on his machine. Oh, runs wide there, ran out of brakes, foot down. Good job to save that. He's going to join back on the track and I think probably not lose the position, Will. Real great breeding ground for talent here in Australia for this class of racing.
You can see the gap back from the race leader now. Not nearly as much challenged, Sean Giles, as he was. Bombardier has his hands full and in fact has very nearly lost third place. He's about 13 seconds in arrears. Peter Guest is into second. And Bombardier into third. He hasn't lost it. He's into third. He's lost second. They tuck together now and he goes off on this battle up Mountain Straight. Spearing over the top of the mountain now, leaping off Reed Park is the race leader, Sean Giles. Bike number 19, well in command of this race. 15-second margin over Peter Guest.
Sorry, well, it's very dangerous there. He's coming up to lap some of the slower riders there now. The rider putting his foot out, which wasn't in fact to try and kick poor Sean, was to tell him to pass him on the right-hand side there. A huge difference in speed between the top factory bikes and the guys that are just coming up here who are doing it more for fun, for the pleasure of riding around the circuit.
Giles right hard onto 59 Michael Cook, C-grader. Now past another Darren Morgan. C-graders tend to be the ones at this end of the field. Guys building up their experience, building up their speed, their knowledge of racing, and going through a very careful, wise grading procedure. And coming round to complete lap 8 now. They're on lap 8, so there'll be 2 remaining at the end of this one. Sean Giles, the man heading the pack, what was 58 starters when they headed off on this second leg of the Australian Solo TT. Good clear track behind him, more traffic in front than closer to him. Another one to lap, that'll be easy on the run up towards the bend off Mountain Straight. Watch Giles, see if he gets his light this time. Yes, both wheels airborne completely off the crest there at about 250.
$2,000 to win this race. Quite good prize money. $1,500 for second. Pays all the way back to 15th place. Gets $100. $8,000 total for prize money for this particular event. So the $2,000 here that Sean's going to pick up, I'm sure, will just about cover his tyre and fuel bill for the weekend.
And out is 9 Ken Watson.
Onto the straight now, he'll be able to take a big sigh of relief, have a little bit of a rest at about 265 kilometres per hour.
In which it's interesting to look at the results from yesterday's first leg of it. Roy Leslie from Sean Giles, Chris Bombardier, who's on 11 in this race, Peter Guest on 10 was 4th, Graham Morris, Graham Wilshaw and Bob Carroll, and then Andrew Thompson that you were talking about. So quite a few major changes in the results of this race. He comes through Caltech's chase for the final time. Just a little mono as he hooks it up out of third, into 4th now, and then backs it off, rolls it down to 3rd to 2nd gear, heads to the finishing line in the second leg of the Australian Solo TT at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, and a very worthy winner indeed, a great performance on top of the job that he did here last year. Sean Giles on bike number 19. Peter Guest next to arrive on bike number 10. He now sees the finishing line in sight, punches his similar Yamaha up, and very jubilant, very pleased to get second place there after yesterday, taking 4th.
Sean, it looked like a Ducati benefit and then up you came. How does it feel?
Oh, it's really great to